Hey guys, it's Mastin Kipp, founder of thedailyLove.com, and welcome to Daily Love TV. I'm here with my boy, Adam Cobb. What's up, man?
Hey, brother.
I'm here. Adam is the creator of FYC NYC and the FYC Method, and look, here's the deal. He's my coach. That's the reality. This is my coach, right? I really think that anyone who achieves at a high level, has a coach, and Adam specifically coaches me in the health and wellness and nutritional space. And I wanted to have him on today because really health and wellness nutrition such a passion of mine, and we're here in Bali. He's here writing his first book, which is awesome, bro.
Oh, man.
Amazing.
Amazing.
And on top of that, we're working out every day. You, me, Dylan, and Mark, we're all working out every single day. So I just thought we'd have a conversation about nutrition because there's so much misinformation out there about nutrition, isn't there? It's crazy,
true.
right?
It's insane.
So can you tell us just a little bit, like you've studied at Duke, like a little bit about sort of like, your educational background, just so people know a little bit about you, because I think we'll be introducing a lot of people to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the first time.
Yeah, I think first it came from just writing a lot of letters to different mentors out there that I had. I was reading their books and things like that. And then from there, we had the privilege to be mentored from a few. One being Dr. Jeffrey Bland, and which actually wrote me my recommendation to go to Duke.
Yes.
He's the founding father of functional medicine. And not only that, but went to Duke Integrated Medicine, studied the coaching there. And overall, it's just been an incredible ride.
That's right. So you have this incredible, like, legitimate nutrition background, but you also coach at a really high level, like elite athletes too, right? And it's not like the work that you do isn't necessarily just like bench press and like that type of stuff. Like what I've noticed about you is that you're really good at looking at the anatomy of a body and watching its movement and really understanding what that specific body needs versus it just being some cookie cutter process. Yeah. Right. So so I want to dive in.
That,
yeah, man. I want to dive into some nutrition questions.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if you knew. I had actually an office in Manhattan, 57th Street in 8.
Oh, wow.
Where clients come in, nutritional, and for me, just doing the nutritional practice, sitting down, I realized if I can get them to move along with the nutrition, I think I can create more momentum in their life and be able to create a better result. So it was the combination of both that was really important.
I love that. And one of Adam's big things is the idea of movement. I was so confused. What is movement? Because Adam talks about move well, eat well, think well, move well. What does that mean? Because I think like if you look in the world, like there's so many fads around like exercise, diet, this thing works, that thing works. What is the bottom line for you just around, like weight loss, physical peak performance and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like, can you tell us a little bit about your philosophy in that world?
Yeah, I say one, there's no weight loss, there's only health gain. And two, that it's not about exercise, it's about movement. Because you think exercise, you think treadmill, you think dumbbells, you think weights. But when you think movement, you start to think, oh, well, that could be dance. That could be a massage. That could be just a nice walk with your puppy.
Right.
That could be a lot of different things, but as long as you can do that consistently every day, and then you start to add that to a place where you get great results.
Yeah, it seems like my takeaway, if I could like make, because I'm like the consistent like yo-yo dieter. Yeah. As a wrestler as a kid and ate so much food, and then got into drugs, and when I was doing cocaine and sugar were like my top two favorite drugs, right? So like I've had a consistent history with sugar and cocaine, stuff like that. And what I've kind of seen in my own life, and I've seen this with other people, is that it's almost like they want the fad to replace the work of moving. Yeah. It's like I'd rather be gluten-free than move. And there's nothing wrong. Obviously, we both agree that gluten is inflammatory, not good for you.
Sure.
But like being gluten-free the sugar is gluten-free, right? Like so many things are gluten-free. So can you talk a little bit about like what you mean by movement and how important that is versus fads? Because there's a difference between nutritional fads and nutritional principles. But how does exercise play into that and movement? How does it play into that?
Yeah, I think when you start to, what I share with my clients is that, and I've shared with you, is that when I get you to move, what does it do, right? It starts to create motion in the body, right? And when you start to create that motion, I think it directly reflects, first, you've done this movement, you put the time in, you've even started to invest into yourself. It starts to create, the motion starts to create emotion, right? And that emotion, I think, starts to stir up some trust in your body. That trust allows you then to want to complement what you just did. So if you just move for 30 minutes and you did that, 4 or 5 days in a row, well, then why are you going to eat those same things? And I think when it comes to the eat well the eat well part, it's not so much what people see you eat. It's more like the daily disciplines that define you, and it's kind of what you do in the darkness.
Yeah.
We talk about that. What do you do in the darkness when everybody goes to sleep and it's just you? and it's 11
And
p.m.
you sneak
you sneak a little something in, right? Or when you're at the movies and maybe you do a movie by yourself and it's just you.
Right.
Well, let me have a popcorn. Let me have a soda.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
free refills?
Right.
Game on. Right?
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So I think we both agree that sugar is like the devil, right?
Yeah.
JJ Virgin has named it like public enemy number one with the new sugar impact diet, right?
Yeah.
So I think we all got the memo on that.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is that there's this whole now it's like the high fat thing is in vogue, and people are just like eat fat all the time. So can you talk a little bit about what your philosophy is around specifically eating? Because I think there's so much confusion. Like, because at first low fat was good for you in the 70s and 80s. We have the obesity epidemic.
Yeah.
Kids at 5 getting stage 2 diabetes. So obviously that's not the answer.
Yeah.
And now we're going more into like this high fat conversation, which is on some level I've had some success with. But it kind of feels like it still feels like there's not like principles or best practice. It kind of feels like things are swinging in a lot of different directions. So can you talk specifically, if you have some tips for people who are watching this for the first time and just really want to nail the eating part?
Absolutely.
Like, how do you do that? Like some specific tips. Like, what would you say?
Yeah. One, I would say, first fruit first. That's a big kind of slogan, hashtag, whatever you want to call it. But I say fruit first in the morning. You wake up in the morning, start off, whether it's a green juice, fruit in the morning, and it's less about what you eat. And I think this is a really big thing that I try to nail in. We've talked about it, but also share it with other people, is that it's less about what you eat, but it's more about, well, when do you eat, right? What are the time frames you eat? Do you wake up in the morning and go all day on just maybe a coffee and then have a big lunch and big dinner? Typically, people start to now add 5 pounds to 10 pounds a year if they do that philosophy. So what would be different? Well, you would definitely have a big breakfast. We've heard about eat like a king, eat like a prince, and then eat like a pauper, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So eat like a king for breakfast,
Yep.
and then a prince for lunch and a pauper for. So what does that mean exactly?
Right. It means eat a pretty good sized breakfast, a medium sized lunch, and then a smaller dinner.
Right.
And typically I tell people for dinner, if they are in this challenge of really wanting to change their physique, they want to typically get a health gain, but also lose a little bit of weight, body fat, is that at night to keep it simple. Less tons of different ingredients, but more just keep it real simple. You're going to have a protein and you're going to have a vegetable, and keep it simple for dinner.
So that's when I hear protein and vegetable, I don't hear starch in there. So you're saying at nighttime mostly just leave it to more or less vegetables and meats, or vegetables and some type of vegan protein?
Simple in that dinner small popper philosophy.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, great. Now, what is your take on the high fat movement?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that there's good fats, right? And a lot of times we're confused with, well, great, they say fat now is a good thing. Well, we know if you look at like scientific breakdown of calories, something called a kcal, that fat actually equals 9 grams. It's actually a 9 on a kcal scale.
What does that mean?
9 it's basically the amount of energy per what you eat. So you get.
So it's calorie dense. It's calorie dense.
So think about a ratio of 9 to 4, which is protein, and then 4, which ends up being a starch.
Right.
Right, or carb.
So you're basically saying per gram?
Yeah.
That's how many calories per gram.
So breaking that down, that's how much energy output you get from that. So
Got
just
it.
the ratio that you can get double and a little extra, right, when it comes to a fat. And if that's the case, well then why wouldn't we be having fats? But more importantly, they fill you up. They can make other foods taste really good. And the fats that we're talking about are things like coconut oil and avocados, which I recommend everybody put in their shakes.
Yes.
It's that a lot of people now have shakes that are trying to get healthy, and they have a shake, put a little bit of avocado in there, and then it makes it feel creamy.
Yes.
Right, a little more full, and you're not going to tempt yourself later on because you have that filled up. But also, a lot of people will have avocado and they'll have too much avocado.
Yes.
Right, an eighth of an avocado. That's a little bit.
Yeah.
An eighth is actual serving size.
Right.
So just to keep that in mind.
So it sounds like what you're saying, because I think one of the things that I hear is that when there's a new philosophy, whether Atkins diet or whatever like the trend is over the South Beach diet, people tend to go like all in. So what it sounds like what you're saying is, do calories matter? Like, do people need to be calorie counting?
Yeah, I think the number one reason why people
Because if you eat 5,000 calories of bacon or 5,000 calories of cucumbers, it's still 5,000 calories, right?
Yeah.
But people have said like a calorie is not a calorie. So like, how do people work that out? Like, because there's a level of the quality of the food that you eat, obviously. But I've heard even stuff like, well, if you eat protein like a meat, then you burn more than the calories that it consumes. So is a calorie in that case? Because you have to have moderation in the food you eat, obviously, right?
Yeah. So what type of calories are we taking in?
Right.
You know, so we know I'm not big on calorie counting.
Yeah.
I'm not big on that. And when it comes to the actual calories that you're taking in, where are you getting that from? And we know we want to stay away from, like you had mentioned, cancer being, the devil or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
Public enemy number one. And we know that certain foods have
You mean
much higher
not cancer, sugar?
Sugar.
Yeah, sugar being
Sugar,
but
equal in cancer.
yeah, because what we found is that really that sugar is what fuels cancer growth.
That's right.
In many ways. I mean, Chris Carr writes about that extensively in her work too.
Mm-hmm.
So sugar's bad, but so is agave sugar?
Agave is a form of sugar.
Right. What about honey?
I personally think honey is number one.
Number one, like you love honey?
Love
but
honey.
how much honey, like, what is it, but do you have that in a weight loss or a health, going towards like health?
I do. I think as a sweetener, it's just a really nice add. I think it's
That's
a
awesome.
teaspoon and
Just about a little bit. See, I think what's key about you is that, like, what I've noticed with Adam is that there's a level of moderation in what you do. It's not like eat honey all day long.
No, not at all.
You're talking about like a little bit of moderation.
I think that's where the fad diets come in.
Right.
Certain fad diets. All of a sudden, it's like, let's do a lot of this and a lot of that. And we still live in this big world that it's just a lot of everything. And we're in this, beautiful location, right, in Bali. And it's all about simplified world. And I think that if there's one takeaway, and I wish everybody could experience this, because it's as simple as simplify everything you do. Simplify your food, right? Slow down when you eat.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Have slow eating contests with your friends. It's the new cool thing to do. And I mean, these type of things are strategies to be able to be successful.
Right. So it sounds like, if I'm hearing you straight, certain fats are okay. Olive oil, coconut oil, avocado, stuff like that. What do you think about butter or grass-fed butter?
Grass-fed butter. Well, I know that lately that's something that you've been
Yes, but come on, give it to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the same philosophy happens. I think that having a big stick of butter on something, it's just too much fat.
Right.
I think that, again, have a little bit, enjoy it, savor it, and again, eat it slow, but savor the flavor. Focus less on, just taking in all this food and big consumptions. I think it goes with a lot of butter is the same thing. A lot of food, a lot of just everything, a lot of stimuli, in the world. So just dumb it down.
Right. So basically what you're saying is it's not about not having it, it's having it in the right almost portions or percentages.
Absolutely.
So when you think about like going towards like losing body fat and really stepping into health, when you think about macronutrients, like the percentage of the plate, like how much of the plate do you think is protein, how much is fat, and how much is carbohydrates?
Awesome. I love that question. So let's do, let's make 3 fists. 1, 2. Yeah. So I would say 1, 2, 3 would be vegetables.
Okay.
Easy.
So what kind of vegetables? Not like carrots and sweet potatoes or like greens? Like I want details.
I would say vegetable 1, category 1. So that's more like, so let's put the fist together.
Okay.
So we would imagine like a big bunch of spinach.
Got it.
Big bunch of Brussels sprouts. Green, leafy vegetables.
Fibrous greens.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool.
And go ahead and take out this one. Just keep one fist up.
Yep.
Great. And this right here, that mass there would be, the protein.
Got it.
Right? That would be the protein that you'd have. And then turn your hand around and leave that little bit in here.
Hold on, right here.
Just that little tiny bit.
Yeah.
Right there. That's the starch.
Got it.
Enjoy it. Have a sweet potato. Have some quinoa. Whatever you want. In that case, I would actually not whatever you want.
So basically, it's almost like the reverse. Remember the food pyramid? It's like grains.
Yeah.
It's like almost the reverse of that now.
a reversal.
It's like the bottom part should be green, then the middle part should be protein, the top part should be grains. Is what it sounds like. Is that true?
Yeah, less of a pyramid, more of a diamond.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you mean more of a diamond?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Exactly. But it's the opposite basically of what we've been told. That's amazing. So Adam, where can people find you?
Where can you find me? You can find me at fycmethod.com.
Yes.
CoachAdamCobb.com. Every type of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook's all Coach Adam Cobb.
That's right.
So,
awesome. I drink his greens every single day. They're the best tasting powder greens ever. Helps alkalize the system. They cleanse. All his products are really incredible. They keep us going on the tour. They kept me going all day. Yeah. So I wanted to have Adam on. Hopefully you've gotten some value here and some clarity around some of the common nutritional questions that we have. And by the way, one of the reasons why nailing your nutrition and your movement is so important, whether you're trying to be more connected to God, have more of a entrepreneurial edge, to show up with more presence and energy in your relationship and your job, what we're talking about is the base foundation for everything else. People want to know for me, like, how do you have so much energy, right? 30-city tour internationally, then Bali, then Maui, like all the things that we do. It's understanding and applying these principles every single day, because ultimately how you feel your body gives you the energy to be a rock star entrepreneur, to be an incredible partner in your relationship, to show up for your kids, to show up for life and be present. Because what's the purpose of life if you don't have the energy for it, right? Yeah. So that's really what this is all about. So here's a question for you. You might be over on Facebook, you might be over on YouTube watching this video. Head on over to thedailyLove.com. Below this video, let us know any ahas you had around nutrition, movement, exercise, weight loss for you. And also, if you've had success in this area, because I know this is such a huge pain point for folks, leave a comment about what your success has been as well, because we can learn from your success. If you have a question, we'd love to learn from the questions, how you're going to apply what Coach Adam Cobb has shared today about nutrition. Hope this has been valuable for me. This is my go-to guy for exercise, nutrition, and we're training all over the world. So I'm grateful that I'm happy that you said yes, bro.
Absolutely.
All right, man.
Thank you, brother.
So yeah, man, of course. So hop on over, leave a comment, and then most importantly, and as always here at Daily Love TV, remember to find courage, take action, and make it real. We'll see you next week, guys.